right. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. We are continuing with our look at the Torah portion. This week's Torah portion is Toldot. We'll look at snippet of the Torah portion. The Torah portion, the full portion is Genesis 25:19 through all the way through 28:9. That's Toldot. We are going to look at just the very beginning there, Genesis 25, verse 19 through verse 28. We'll just briefly discuss Genesis 25, 19 through 28, which deals with the birth of Jacob and
All right, Genesis 25:19. And this is the genealogy of Yitzchak, Abraham's son. Abraham brought forth Yitzchak, and Yitzchak was 40 years old when he took Rivkah, his wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Aramean of Padan Aram, the sister of Laban of Aramean. And Yitzchak prayed to Yahweh for his wife because she was barren, and Yahweh answered his prayer, and Rivkah, his wife, conceived. And within her, the children struggled together, and she said, "If all is right, why am I this way?" So she went to ask Yahweh. And Yahweh said to her, "Two nations are in your womb, and two peoples shall be separated from your body. One people shall be stronger than the other, and the older serve the younger." And when the days were filled for her to give birth, and see, twins were in her womb. And the first came out red all over, like an hairy garment. So they called his name Esau. And afterward, his brother came out with his hand holding on to Esau's heel. So his name was called Jacob. And Yitzchak was 60 years old when she bore them. And the boys grew together, and Esau became a man knowing how to hunt, a man of the field, while Jacob was a complete man, dwelling in tents. And Yitzchak loved Esau because he ate of his wild game, but Rivkah loved Jacob.
All right, very good. It's interesting when we look at this beginning part of this Torah portion, which deals with the genealogy, Toldot, the genealogy, the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. When we look here, it's interesting that a couple things that I was thinking about. The first thing is when we think about where it talks about verse 21, here where it talks about the fact that Isaac prayed to Yahweh for his wife because she was barren. It's interesting when we think about the fact that I'm sure at this point in Isaac's life that he understood all of the things that went into his coming forth, and also the prophecy that preceded all of that. The fact that there was going to be this great nation that comes from Abraham, and then essentially, I guess, through Isaac at this point. And so, even though we see over here this whole thing with the prophecy of the covenant, and the fact of Isaac probably knew that he had something to do with this prophecy, he wasn't still like, well, I know that the Most High said what he said, and so I'll just go ahead and just let it play itself out. He still, felt the necessity to go before the Most High and plead with the Most High to continue or further the covenant, and to allow for the covenant to be manifest through himself, and of course could not have done it without his wife. And so I thought it was interesting that you have that there for us, because it's not like he took the situation for granted, right? He was sure to still look towards the Most High for his help, even though the Most High already said what he would do. He didn't let, for whatever reason, he wanted to continue to ask for something that the Most High has said that he was going to do already. It's interesting that, when we think about things, when we think about the idea of trusting in the Most High and trusting in the promises that was made, I guess when you look at this, you could think about it in opposite ways. Maybe you could think about it in a way where he's potentially looking at the situation, understanding that his wife seems barren, and in spite of the fact that the Most High said what he was going to do previously, is it doubt that is creeping into his situation, causing him to go back and plead for the thing that the Most High had already said that he was going to be doing? Is that doubt? When we look at verse 21 right there? Or is that something else? I'm just asking.
I think she just was probably tired.
Wow.
I mean,
Well-
even though
Like,
the,
I'm waiting, like, a little bit.
so even though the Most High or the prophets will say something's going to happen, there has to be people that makes it happen. So on one hand, you could say him going to petition or pray to the Most High for his wife to not be barren, to bear a son, is part of the Most High's plan for things to continue. So on his, because all of us, we got to have faith and action and belief, and the actions that we take manifest the word, what is true. So on one end, you could look at it as him, if we don't know exactly what he knew and his, okay, was he going to get another wife? Was he don't know that. You getting up in age or what? But he just, hey, go to petition. So therefore, this continues what the Most High said was going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
Because even though the Most High could say, okay, this is going to happen, who knows how exactly it's going to play out? Mm-hmm. Unless a prophet tell you, they knew in Bethlehem, in certain parts of the prophets knew Yeshua was coming. But
Yeah.
Exactly how.
right.
Yeah. I think that, well, when we look at this, because I don't want to say that there was doubt. I'm just bringing up the question. I think it is important, faith is action. And so, us having faith in what the Most High said that he would do should bring us to action. And also, we have to remember that, we are in a relationship with our Maker, where we speak with him, we talk to him about the things that, that concern us. And, some people, like to remind, just from an earthly realm, some people like to remind and reiterate things that, were previously spoken about, and just cause for us to remember, make sure we don't forget. And so why wouldn't, he be like that? I think that the idea of him, Isaac going before the Most High on behalf of his wife, I think it's an interesting thought, because when you look at the second, read the 22nd verse again.
And within her, the children struggled together, and she said, "If all is right, why am I this way?" So she went to ask Yahweh.
Okay, and so it seems when we look at from Rivka's situation, with all of this struggling that's going on inside of her, is causing her to think about, well, this is beyond, of course, the barren situation, but still, you still have, to me, I always think about the fact that, just because somebody has conceived and is with child, until that baby come out, it's not guaranteed. Right? The baby got to be born. It got to come out, because it might not make it. Which is an interesting parallel when we think about the fact that, us that, have received the seed of the Ruach HaKodesh, for all intents and purposes, are in the womb. Waiting, to be fully born. Right? We're alive. Embryo is a person. I just want to make saying that. Right? But we're waiting to be fully birthed, where we are this total fully done thing. Right? And so, you still have to, there's still this, is everything okay situation while, you're in that pregnancy stage. Now, it's interesting thinking about this idea of twins over here, right? Because, I did just a little bit of research, whole situation. I'm not an expert by any means, but when you think about twins, right? When you think about twins, right, you can have twins different ways, right? There could be a singular seed that goes into a singular egg, and then at some point that egg splits into two, and then now you got twins. Those ones are identical, right? But then you have other situation where you have, for whatever reason, two seeds make it through and get. I think there's three different ways. I think there might be four different ways. I think there's many different.
Maybe
I think
five.
there's many different ways. But also, I don't know all the ways, but I know about the one egg and the one seed. But then I also know about the two seeds and two eggs. And then when you have that situation where you have a seed and an egg, like two seeds and two eggs, one seed for each egg, they're inside of a separate sack. What's the sack that they're in? The sack. What's the sack called? The placenta, yeah, it's a sack.
They get two separate ones?
In that case, there's two, yes. There's two sacks in the womb. The placenta is the sack, isn't it?
It could be either way. Yeah, there could be two placentas. Okay. Or there could be two uteruses.
Two. You adding all these extra things. I don't even know what a placenta is.
Confused right now. There's a lady who has two uteri in her body.
Uteruses or placentas?
Whole uterus.
Oh, that's the thing that look like a flower.
That's the fallopian tube. The ovaries of Echad. He's funny, man.
I don't know. I just for our purposes now, I want to think about the idea of egg, a seed in an egg, and another seed in another egg. Because there could be other ways, but that way happens. And so in this way that I'm talking about, there could be two sacs, whatever those sacs are. I don't know if they're placentas or whatever they are. There's two sacs and there's one baby in each sac. Now, in that type of a situation, the idea of them both moving around in there, in the womb, but they're separate from each other though, because they're both in. Are those things translucent? Can you see through the sac? When I saw that sac, it didn't look very translucent. Looked like it was. Oh yeah. But I'm just thinking about the part where when they're coming out, the one is grabbing at the other. Because now you got a situation where are they in the same sack? Is one like holding the other one in the other sack? That's a lot.
Or it was two different uteruses.
My point is when we look at the differences or the similarities between Jacob and Esau, they're different. They're brothers. They come from the same father. And they come from the same mother, but they're different. I know of twins. Matter of fact, I just seen some adult twins recently. Adults walking around looking like each other. To me, that's not a twin. That always seems weird. Kids is one thing. Yes. I'm saying that, yeah, they look the same. They're identical twins, but I'm saying like with the same outfits. Like we calling each other up, like, what you trying to wear today? Like, I'm just saying, like with identical twins, there's like this connection. It seems because you come from the same thing. Like you come right. It's the same. It's one egg and one seed that splits in half. But in the other situation where you have this other seed and you have this other egg, where yes, you're brothers, but there's differences. You have shared DNA, but there's differences. And so when we look at Esau and Jacob, they're two different guys. They look different, they act different, they behave in ways that just regular siblings will behave, as opposed to like twins where they're the same. These two, in fact, seem to be like polar opposites. And so when we think about the idea of Jacob, or even Israel for that matter, and Esau, or even Edom for that matter, you have this situation, this idea, when we think about the idea of striving after those things that are from above, or striving after those things that deal with the earth. And certainly Esau was about those things which deal with the earth, right? And being that when you look at, again, he wasn't alien to his father, he came from his father. So that part of him that loves the earth, right, was in him. But then you also have the other side in terms of Jacob, who they don't actually say here what he loves, just that the fact that his mother loved him. They don't talk about what he loved, right? But when we look at his life and see the way that, the trajectory where he goes, we see that, of course, he is the one who, he loves the Almighty. He loves the Most High. And so when we look at just the idea of Jacob and Esau from this idea of just kind of a spiritual perspective, understanding the differences in these characteristics, right? And where the possession of these characteristics puts you. The one that loved earth and earthly things is actually the one that the Most High says hated. And the one that loves to strive with the Most High is the one that the Most High actually loves. And so, just from just looking at, this beginning situation, we see that, looking at Jacob and Esau from a spiritual perspective is interesting for us because it causes us to think about, the way in which we should, our lives should really be patterned. That is, striving after those things which are above. Okay, does anybody have any thoughts, questions, comments about anything here that we talked about or didn't talk about in these verses here?
I just wanted to bring up this one scripture, Isaiah 43:26, where the Most High says, "Put me in remembrance. Let us please, let us declare the Lord." So he wanted to have into his mind.
Hold on, say that again. You just was kind of low.
Isaiah 43:26, where it says, "Put me in remembrance. Let us please, let us declare." In other words, he wants us to put him in remembrance.
Yes. Oh, put him in remembrance. Yes. Oh, in terms of and speaking to him. Yes. Yes, because it's a way. The Most High, of course, knows everything. You're not reminding him, really. You're reminding your own self. You're reminding yourself what he said. When you put him, you're bringing the things that he already have declared to you, to your remembrance. You're remembering.
He treated the Most High, on one level, it seemed as though he was bringing the Most High to his remembrance, but like you said, Murray, it's basically he bringing himself to the remembrance.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like I know people who say, I'm only gonna pray about this one time and then I'm never praying about it again. Yeah. I've never been that person. You know what I mean? I've never been that person. And I'm not that person with people either.
Yeah.
I like confirmation, reminders.
Yeah. Yes. I think in terms of dealing with the Most High, that's definitely a good thing. It's something that kind of gets on my nerves when we're talking about physical situations. But from a spiritual perspective, yes, most definitely, yes. We must bring the Most High to our remembrance. Always. Okay, very good. Anybody else have any thoughts, questions?
The script that came to mind was Psalm 55 and 22. I'm just saying, when you take a pass, your burden is upon the Lord, and He just sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be used. It's like, yeah, you got it. Like, if we think that's weighing you down, I don't know if that happens to you. Lack of faith, but it's just kind of like standard protocol.
Yeah.
It's burdening you, if it's on your mind, bring it to the
Yeah.
Talk to him about this so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk to somebody that can actually do something about it, not to somebody who can't, like me. Can't do it. Yes, very good.
Yeah.